I'm glad you're here today. I'm going to help you know how to help a child stop wetting the bed. It'd be great to get on top of that one, wouldn't it? Bedwetting is actually something that we can handle fairly simply. Now, simple and easy aren't the same thing, but it is a simple concept. To understand why the intervention works, let's review the two primary causes of bedwetting. I'm talking about a child or a teenager who has never had a significant period of dryness and they continue to wet the bed on a fairly regular basis. This is what we call primary nocturnal enuresis. You don't have to worry about that title, but there are different types of bedwetting that are handled in different ways. This is the most common type. For primary nocturnal enuresis, or common bedwetting, there are two causes, and you have to have both to have the problem. One of those causes is a deficiency of a particular hormone. It's called antidiuretic hormone, or ADH for short. When there's a deficiency of this hormone, your body doesn't regulate the chemistry in such a way as to dry you up for the night. Most people who have enough of the hormone don't have to get up and go to the bathroom in the middle of the night because the hormone just takes care of it. The purpose of the hormone is drying you up at night. Pretty good thing to have, right? But if you've got a deficiency of that, then that could create a potential problem if you have the other cause as well. And this other cause is deep sleeping. This makes total sense, doesn't it? In fact, most of the parents that I've talked to who have kids who wet the bed, they say, man, this kid is impossible to wake up. My doctoral dissertation proved that kids who wet the bed are harder to wake up than kids who don't. Parents have known this for years, but it wasn't actually established in the literature until I did my study to prove that. That was my doctoral dissertation, which is why I'm talking to you about bedwetting today. When both of those causes are in place, we have a bedwetter. If you have enough hormone, but you're a deep sleeper, then you don't have to get up and go anyway. Problem solved. If you don't have enough of the hormone, but you're not a deep sleeper, then you're going to wake up and go take care of business. So both causes are necessary. Now, a lot of interventions out there, especially on the medical side, will use a synthetic hormone to dry the kid up for the night. And that's awesome if you've got a short-term fix that you need to get, like a sleepover, a camp out, something like that. Then that works pretty well, but it doesn't solve the problem. So what we're going to talk about today is an actual fix from a behavioral standpoint. And it ties back to classical conditioning. Do you remember back in psychology class where you heard about Pavlov's dogs? Now, Ivan Pavlov was a psychologist who was studying behavior. And he found that he could pair a stimulus with a response for these dogs. He got them to salivate when he would ring a bell. Ding! Dog salivates. Why would a dog salivate if you ring a bell? Well, because he paired the bell with a little puff of meat powder into the dog's mouth. And at first, the bell didn't mean anything. But through repeated pairing of those two stimuli, he got the dogs to salivate whenever he rang the bell. And the meat powder wasn't even there now. You can train the brain to respond differently. Now, there's a part of the brain that wakes you up. That's the part we want to train. I put together an entire training program for how to walk through this. Let's put it into context. Here's what we need to do. If you want to stop the bedwetting, step number 1, enroll the child. Now, I assume if you're the parent watching this, that you're watching because you have a child who wets the bed. If you are that child or that teenager, then you're already enrolled. Check off step 1. Awesome. Thank you for coming. If you're the parent, we need to enroll the child. This is extremely important. So I want you to stay very positive. No threats, No ultimatums, just hope and positivity. You might share this video with the child so that they get a sense that, oh, there's something that I can do about this. Get the child enrolled. Stay positive. Keep that positive energy going. Now, step number 1 is so important because step number 2 is where we encourage the child to take full responsibility. That can be a little scary, okay? Full responsibility? Yes. This is that kid's problem. Now, you're on the team if you're a parent. You're on their team. If you're the child or the teenager, then you've got a team that includes your parents or others who are close to you or love you. The child gets to take full responsibility for this process. That doesn't mean that they're the ones who are going to organize and oversee it. That's why we have you as a parent. But they get to take full responsibility. For what? For being clean and dry. 3 words. Clean and dry. That's what they are responsible for. If they are not clean and dry, then they are the ones who are fully responsible for getting back to clean and dry. That will be incorporated into the training program. It's their responsibility. So, what does that mean? If there's a wetting accident, and there will be, that's okay. We're going to use that as part of the training process. When there's a wetting accident, they are responsible for changing the sheets, for changing their own clothes, for getting their body clean, for doing the laundry. Do you follow? Everything associated with that accident is now the responsibility of the child. You can see that for younger children, and by the way, let's just throw this in right here. I wouldn't even try this program with a child who's under the age of 7 or 8. And really, developmentally, it's not that much of a concern until they hit about that age. Now, I know if you've got a 4 or 5-year-old who's wetting, you're going to be concerned about that. But from a clinical standpoint, we don't even really get concerned about the diagnosis until the child is older. Now, if you've got an older child or a teen, we're in that window. And they can be taught how to do the laundry. All right? Mom's not going to do it for them. This is the child's responsibility. So that's what I mean by the child takes full responsibility. Now, we've got the child enrolled. We're staying positive. We've given full responsibility to the child. Now we're ready to engage in the training program. I won't go through the entire program here on this video. I'll give you a few little insights to it. If you want all of the details, go to finallydry.info for information. finallydry.info, and you're going to find the entire program. I've mapped it out for you there. It's a downloadable PDF, so you can get connected to the whole program there. That's the next step. Do the training program. This is a fairly intensive program that is designed to train the brain to respond differently to the signal, the bell. Remember the dogs? The bell that rings when they need to go to the bathroom. But right now they're not waking up to that. Their mind is just sleeping right through it. We want to train that mind to respond differently. And that's what the training program is for. It's classical conditioning. It's repetitive learning. So you'll go through a few exercises in the training program. There will be practice protocols that you do before bedtime, where you go through what's going to happen if we have an accident. When we have an accident, remember? What's going to happen then? Well, I go through this routine. You practice it before he goes to bed. You will practice changing sheets, for example. You will practice getting out of the bed and going to the bathroom. You might even practice the motions of taking a shower. It's all in the training program, but you're going to go through that. That's the practice element. There's unconscious habit training, where we take the child through a process of tuning into the signals in their own body. There's a practice protocol for that. There's nighttime cleanliness training, where we go through the routines of what needs to happen. So it's a very intensive program that works really well to train the brain. Make sure you're all ready for that. You don't want to do this on a night, for example, where everybody's got to get up early the next day. Pick a weekend or some time where it's going to be okay if you lose a little bit of sleep, because you will for the first 2 or 3 nights. It's going to get a little more manageable after that, and as the training kicks in, then we get to a point where we're actually seeing the effect of the training. But make sure that you're ready for it and everybody stays positive. That positive energy is going to be really important. Because this is an intensive, difficult process, build in some little rewards along the way. And I would reward adherence to the program more than success in overcoming the wetting. That's going to come with time as the training kicks in. What's going to help is if you reward the little successes along the way. Oh, you followed the program perfectly. Awesome. Way to go. Have little rewards and treats and incentives set up, because it is kind of hard to engage in that kind of a training program. The principles are simple. So do what you can to persist until you succeed. With the tools that I've shared with you, I think you're ready for this. The intensive program that I referenced can be found at finallydry.info. It's a downloadable ebook that will outline all of the practice procedures that I told you about. There's also a playlist here at Live on Purpose TV for bedwetting. Go check that out. There's some additional information there as well. Good luck with this.